Hello everyone, Shroomraver here, and welcome back to the Nickname Academy, the series where I'm taking every Pokemon from Bulbasaur right the way through to Calyrex, I think is last now, and give them all nicknames. Yes indeed, we are back. Is Calyrex last in the decks now? I don't even know, I've been out of the game for so long, I don't know who's last in the decks. All I know is that when future generations come out, we're going to do them as well. A future generation is being announced, like, right now, so that's all very exciting. I wanted to come back after a year sort of in the wilderness with something recognisable to me, and for me, that's nicknames. What might not be recognisable, new intro, very snazzy, very happy with it. Artwork done by the amazing Ghostly Felis, aka Sammy. Links down in the description, make sure you check her out and buy all of her things because she's wonderful. But you were here for nicknames. It's been a long time since I've done any of these. It's been a year since I uploaded an actual content video, like the Nickname Academy, long before that. But we did end off at the end of Generation 4 last time, so for the first proper content video back on the channel after a year, let's dive into Generation 5 of the Pokemon, starting with Victini. Victini, going to be nicknamed Blackletter. Why is this? Well, Blackletter is a Gothic script from many years ago, and in writing it was the first script to make the distinction between the letters U and V. So in effect, it created the letter V. V, create, signature mover Victini, very nice indeed. That is why Victini is going to be called Blackletter. I have missed doing these stupid nicknames. Oh, I've missed it a lot. Anyway, that's the first one off the bat, Victini. Let's move on to the actual starters of the generation, starting off with Snivy. Snivy is going to be called Mutant, because the Dex says it's the grass snake Pokemon, but it has arms and legs. That is a mutant if ever I've seen one. It's a snake with limbs. That's weird, and basically a mutation of some kind. So, Snivy, going to be called Mutant. Lovely. Excuse me. After Snivy, of course, we have Servine. Servine going to be called Loras. Sir Loras, a character in Game of Thrones, known as the Knight of Flowers. So, the way I go with that is he is a Sir. He is the Knight of Flowers. Flowers may have vines. Sir Vine, Knight of Flowers, Loras, Servine. Lovely, why not? Servine, Loras, easy. Final evolution of that is going to be Superior. Superior going to be called Draper. Named after Don Draper from Mad Men? No, of course not. That seems way too simple and easy. Bad cough, always the same. No. Superior, as Draper, is going to be named after the Draper 3000W. What on earth is that? Well, I'll tell you what that is. It was the top-rated leaf vacuum in 2019. Yeah, we're going that way. Yeah, that's what that is. So if a leaf vacuum is what sort of sucks leaves up, that is like the opposite of like blowing leaves out, which is what Leaf Storm the move is. So this leaf vacuum is what is contrary to a Leaf Storm. Superior, with the ability contrary, always uses Leaf Storm, and there's the link. That is why it's going to be named after the Draper 3000W of all things. That's why Superior is going to be called Draper. Cough, terrible. Tea'll fix that. Lovely, absolutely. We've even got a pun on the mug. Look at that. Dratini. It was meant to be, ladies and gentlemen. So, moving on to a few like short and silly nicknames that don't really have much in the way of wordplay for reasons, but I love them. It's the Tepig line, starting with Tepig, going to be called Hamlet. Why? Not named after my friend Hamlet, although I'm sure he would claim that. No, it's just because he's a little mini ham. He's a Hamlet. Lovely. Nice and simple. Easy. Could have been called Piglet, but that's too obvious. We call him Hamlet. After Tepig, of course, comes Pignite, who I have named Remix to Pignition, because it's a fun pun on a song by a bit of a problematic artist, you know, we'll admit that, but, you know, it's named after the song Remix to Ignition. I once used a Pignite against my good friend Pete, back then known as Ryquin, on a series we had together. I called Pignite Remix to Pignition, and he sort of died laughing for about 3 minutes, so that's good enough for me. That's a response I like. Pignite Remix to Pignition, done. Final mon of that evolutionary line, of course, is Emboar, and in a similar kind of vein, Emboar is going to be called Notorious P.I.G. Because it's the Notorious B.I.G, but he's a big pig instead, so he's P.I.G. It's one of my personal favourites, I love that one. Emboar, done, easy. Now that line was very sort of simplistic, Then we get onto the Oshawott line, and this is anything but in most places. Oshawott going to be nicknamed Revertal. Why is that? Well, because it's a mashup of the words reverse and turtle. Oshawott has a shell on its stomach, not on its back like a turtle would, so it's a reverse turtle. Revertal. Lovely. A little bit of word meshing, you know I love to do that. Next up, of course, we have Duot, which is just named Confirmation, because its name sounds like you're saying do what, which is asking for confirmation on something. Oshawott, sorry, Duot, confirmation, done. Easy, simple. Finally, we have Samurott. Samurott's going to be called Tagarung. This is named after a book series I used to read so much when I was younger. The Redwall series. I don't know if anyone ever read any of these. Written by the author Brian Jacques. It was a series about anthropomorphic animals. And the Tagarung was an otter. Tagarung was actually one of the books, but he was a character as well. He was an otter, this really super powerful character who was quoted as superior to all others in strength, fleetness of foot, and stealth. Now, Samurott may not have lived up to those expectations as a Pokemon competitively, but it does fit the description in what it looks like, so that is why I've gone with Tagarung for the Samurott name. Now, I'm aware, now that we've got to Samurott, that it has a Hisuian form. I never played Legends of Arceus, and we've already gone through Pokemon that have like Galarian forms, we haven't gone over them. Those will probably be a separate nickname video, or maybe they'll be just in order when we get to them. I'm not sure how I'm going to do those, but we will get onto them. Do not think I've forgotten about the alternate forms, we will get there. But not for today, because next up we have Patrat. Patrat's going to be nicknamed Brooklyn. The reason for that is because that is a Team Fortress 2 reference, a game I used to play quite a lot. Where I did actually main Scout as my main character. He is from Brooklyn in the game, and in the Pokédex it says that Patrat is the Scout Pokemon. So, Scout in TF2 from Brooklyn, so the Scout Pokemon Patrat will be named Brooklyn. Next up, a more complicated one, we have Watchog. Watchog is going to be called Hero Shrine. This is named after a game I haven't played. Enter the Gungeon. Is a game that has something called Hero Shrine. I think it's like one of the sort of items you get that gives you something, or maybe it's an area, I'm not quite sure. What I do know is the Hero Shrine sets your character's curse level to 9 for cursed runs. You can do cursed runs in Gungeon. And then we move over to Pixelmon, which I sometimes join in streams with Chaos and the crew. If you've seen Watchog on Pixelmon, its running animation is genuinely very cursed. It runs like a human, it's weird, I don't like it. So it's got a cursed run. Hero Shrine is what gives you cursed runs in Gungeon, so Watchog will be called Hero Shrine. Lovely. Then we have the better early normal types of this generation, starting of course with Lillipup. Lillipup going to be called Battlemaster. This is a reference to the D&D fighter subclass in Dungeons & Dragons. The fighter subclass Battlemaster in D&D it's all about superiority dice and using maneuvers and knowing when to retreat and use a maneuver to do that, knowing when to go in on battle, use a maneuver to do that. And in the Dex, it says of Lillipup that it is brave but knows when to pick its battles and retreat, which is what the Battlemaster in D&D is all about. So that is why it's called Battlemaster. Seems fair to me. Next up we have Herdia. Very, very simple name. It's called Famous, because it sounds like you're saying, heard of you. Herdia, Herdia, I've heard of you. You're famous. Herdia, famous, done and easy. Herdia, of course, evolves into Stoutland. Stoutland is going to be called England. Is this out of some weird sense of loving my country and whatever that word is? I can't remember what the word is now for when you really, really like your country. But that's not why it is. The reason is because England is where the drink stout was first brewed. Stout is an alcoholic beverage, of course. And yeah, if that England is where stout was first brewed, that makes England the land of stout. The stout land. Stoutland, England. Done. Easy. After Stoutland, we have Purloin. We have found Purloin, and Purloin is going to be named Jack McLean. Now, who on earth is Jack McLean? Well, I will tell you who Jack McLean is. I'm not sure if he's actually still alive. Either way, he is known as one of the greatest cat burglars of all time. In the 70s and 80s, a little bit of history for you here, he stole around $133 million worth of stuff from over 2,000 homes in the Florida area of the 70s and 80s. So one of the greatest cat burglars of all time. Purloin is basically based off a anthropomorphic cat burglar, because purloin means to steal, based off a cat burglar, essentially. Jack McLean, one of the best to ever do it, so that's why Purloin will be named after him. Easy. After Purloin, we have Lipards, and in a very much simpler way of nicknaming, after a person's name, Lipard is going to be called Sean. Very simple, and this is a reference to a character from the 2004 film Running Without Sound. Have I seen it? Not even in a million years have I seen it. I had to research this movie, because I've never seen it. But, as you know, I will gladly take inspiration from things I've never experienced for a nickname. So, Running Without Sound, what is this movie about? Well, it is about this ostensibly character called Sean, who is a deaf high school cross-country runner. Why has this got anything to do with Lipard? Well, because simply put, in the Pokédex it says that Lipard runs silently. And that is exactly what Running Without Sound is. Well, sort of. It's kind of running silently, because you're running and everything is silent if you're a deaf runner, as the character is. And simply because Lipard runs silently, that's why it's going to be named after a character from Running Without Sound. It's going to be Sean, that's Lipard's name. Easy and done. So, we move on to the last 6 names of this video. I'm looking at the time and realising I'm going a little bit sort of shorter than I normally would. I'm still sort of getting back used to my recording times and stuff like this. So this may be a little bit of a shorter video, I'm not really sure. I might do a bit of an update at the end to sort of pad it out a little bit and give you a bit more. But we have the last 6 names of this episode, and they are of course the elemental monkeys, starting off with Pansage, and you'll notice there is a theme running through all 6 of these. Pansage is going to be called Seasoning. Why is that? Because take pan and sage, sage the herb, pan the cooking utensil. It's like cooking sage in a pan, and sage being a herb is what you would use to add flavouring, therefore it makes up some kind of seasoning. So cooking sage in a pan could be tantamount to seasoning, and that's why Pan Sage has that name. Easy. Motorbike. Next up, we have Simi-Sage. The evolution of Pan Sage is going to be called Lost Herbs, because much as with Herdia sounding like heard of you, being famous, Simi-Sage sounds kind of like saying, see my sage? You've lost your herbs. Where is my sage? Have you seen it? See my sage? Simi-Sage, Lost Herbs. Done. After Simi-Sage, of course, we have the Fire Ones. Pansear coming up first, and that's going to be called Ribeye, simply because it's a steak, it's a recognisable steak, and you get a nice sear on it when you cook it in the pan. Pansear, Ribeye, easy and done. After that, of course, the evolution Simi-Sear is going to be called Open Kitchen. You know how some of those, like, I think it's quite common with like Japanese restaurants where they have the big hot plate like in the middle of all the seats around it, so it's like an open kitchen, so you can see the chefs doing their thing. It's very exciting stuff. I've been to 1 or 2 of these and they're fantastic. But basically, the reason Simi-Sear is like that, much like Simi-Sage sounds like some words, Simi-Sear sounds like see-me-sear. You see me sear on an open kitchen, like in that. Simi-Sear, open kitchen, done. Final 2 Pokemon of this video, we start off with Panpour. Panpour is going to be called Fresh Sauce, because it's like you're pouring the sauce directly from the pan. Panpour, you get the sauce like that. Fresh Sauce, Panpour. Not the best, but I wanted a theme to be running through all these 6, and that's the best I had. So Panpour, Fresh Sauce, done. And the final Pokemon of the video will be Simipour. Simipour going to be called Sommelier, the people who work in a restaurant who basically come with the wine, and they sort of take you through the wine and the tasting and all this kind of stuff. But they pour it out in front of you, so much like Simi-Sage and Simi-Sear, Simipour sounding like see me pour, and that's what you do with the sommelier. You see them pour the wine for you. Simipour, sommelier, done. And that is going to be the final nickname of this video. So thank you all so very much for watching. I do hope that you've enjoyed. I'll be working on my timings of these videos. We're just at about 15 minutes or coming up to there, which is quite short. It may be how I've split up the nicknames in this particular generation. Gen 5 is the biggest generation to date, I believe, with 156 Mons. So I may have to look into how I split up the names into the videos. We will see. I'm not sure, but we'll get there. But yes, as I say, that's going to be it from this one. Remember to leave your nickname suggestions in the comment section down below. I always love seeing your suggestions. And remember, every Pokemon deserves a nickname, so make sure you give them one. But I'm going to get out of here. I've rambled on for far too long, so my final thank you to you all for watching. And I guess with that, I'll see you next time. Laters.